Welcome to the Media Medusa show. I'm Nancy Basile from MediaMedusa.com, and today I am talking about the return of American Gods next year to stars. Thank you so much for joining me. I want to let you know that I sincerely appreciate you being here. And MediaMedusa.com is a blog about entertainment, movies, TV, books that inspire fan obsession. We write about the things we love so that we can share that love with you and hopefully point you toward the right things to watch and to read to help you save your precious me time and not waste it on some junky entertainment. So let's get right to it. American Gods. American Gods is a Starz TV series that premiered last year. It's based on a novel by Neil Gaiman. If you're not familiar with Neil Gaiman, he is famous for writing Sandman, The Ocean at the End of the Lane. He also wrote Neverwhere, which is one of my favorite books of all time, and it's especially my favorite Neil Gaiman book. He also wrote Stardust and Coraline. So American Gods is set, obviously, in the United States, and the gods part is slowly revealed as the story progresses. And the story follows an ex-convict who just gets out of prison. His name is Shadow, and he gets sucked into kind of another world that's revealed to him based on mythology, Greek, Roman, Norse. A lot of different things start happening to him. It's a typical hero's journey where he hears the call to adventure. He wants to escape his humdrum life, and so he does. And the next thing he knows, he's battling good and evil and all these things. The show can be pretty trippy. So if you haven't read the book, you might not be able to follow it terribly well. But you also might enjoy the mystery and the slow build up and the gradual revelation. So after season 1 of American Gods, which I absolutely loved, by the way, I loved that show. It was unclear after season 1 if it would return for season 2 because the showrunners, who were Brian Fuller, who had done Star Trek, he does Star Trek Discovery, and he did Hannibal and Pushing Daisies, and Michael Green, who worked with him on Heroes and Smallville. The two of them were having budget disagreements with the production company and with the network. They wanted more money. They weren't going to get more money. And so it was very unclear what was going to happen, which was a shame because American Gods was kind of blowing up. It was getting all this awards attention, and its future was left up in the air. American Gods is coming back for season 2, but the original showrunners, Brian Fuller and Michael Green, have decided to step down as showrunners. They will still be executive producers. They did create the show, so they will be involved. They just won't be involved in the day-to-day and the casting, and it's unclear how much they will be involved. So the new showrunner is Jesse Alexander, who worked on Hannibal and Heroes just like the other two. So she has a pretty good feel, or he has a pretty good feel for what the show should be like. Gillian Anderson, who played Media, will also not be returning, which is just a shame because she's such an excellent actress and she brought a lot of eyeballs to the show that might not necessarily have shown up otherwise. So she won't be returning either. If you want to know more about American Gods in general, you can go to MediaMedusa.com/American Gods. I have a whole big long guide on there about who's in the cast and what's it about, and more about the story and its origin, things like that. So that's MediaMedusa.com/American Gods. So what do you watch in the meantime until American Gods comes back next year, 2019. It's a long time to wait. There are 7 shows on that are very similar to American Gods, not in the story details, but how it's filmed and how the story is told. It's told in these shows, just like American Gods, are told in a very kind of mysterious way. There's a lot of character exploration. It's not so much story driven as character driven. Bits and clues are revealed to you a little bit at a time. Sometimes it's very unclear what's going on with the characters and in the story, but the show, however, remains cohesive and coherent, and they're very good. So I've got seven TV shows that you can watch until American Gods comes back. That's just like American Gods, in my opinion. Legion. Oh my goodness, I love watching Legion. I don't know if you're watching Legion, but if you're not, you should be, especially if you're a fan of American Gods. It's super trippy. There's a lot of kitsch involved, but it's about mutants. It's about Marvel's mutants. The word X-Men is never used, but it's about visuals. It's visually gorgeous and confusing. The angles are crazy. The colors are crazy. It's not always clear what's going on, but it builds a lot of suspense. And if you're the kind of person who likes to have things unraveled slowly or figure out puzzles, Legion is a show for you to watch. Another show to watch is Twin Peaks. Now, Twin Peaks isn't on anymore. They did reboot it, but I'm talking about the original Twin Peaks from the 90s. That was one of the first TV shows that wasn't Twilight Zone-ish, but still left a lot of mystery in the story. The audience wasn't sure who killed Laura Palmer, and after a few episodes, it was clear that that wasn't even the most important point in Twin Peaks. It had a lot of unusual characters, just like American Gods, just like Legion. And that's something that you could binge watch on something like Amazon. I am an affiliate for Amazon, so I'm going to give you a link. And if you buy through that, I do receive a commission. I have to tell you that up front. So you could go to MediaMedusa.com/Amazon Prime and then binge watch Twin Peaks. You could also probably find it on Netflix or iTunes as well. The next show is Westworld, which is on right now. We're in season 2. It just started, and Westworld is huge because it's another head scratcher kind of a show where the audience isn't sure where it's going. We're not sure what came before. Very mysterious, strange characters, and things are revealed to you very slowly, very gradually. So Westworld is another show like that you could watch. Preacher is kind of an under the radar show, and it can be gruesome. Gruesome is the word I would use, but it is also based on a Marvel character. The preacher, he's not that great of a preacher, but he is imbued with powers all of a sudden. And there's a lot of characters in the town that are very unusual, and that's it's difficult to predict where that show is going to go. So that's another show like American Gods or Legion that kind of leaves you in the dark and you're on a need-to-know basis. The next one is Mr. Robot. Now that one doesn't have any, fantasy element, any sci-fi element. It's more about real world possibilities. It's more futuristic or dystopian, I guess you could say, but it is based very firmly in reality. But again, there's always twists and turns that you don't see coming. Things can get turned upside down, and all of a sudden you look back on the story you've been watching and say, oh, that's not what I thought was happening. Mr. Robot is another show that will get your noggin thinking. Counterpart just finished on Starz. I loved it. It was very interesting. I wrote a review on MediaMedusa.com. I think some people misunderstood what I was trying to say. I loved Counterpart. Please don't misunderstand. Is it a white man's show? Yes, it is a white man's show. I would go out on a limb and specifically say it is a middle-aged white man's show. But that doesn't mean that I didn't enjoy it. I enjoyed it a lot. Again, otherworldliness to it, strange characters, underlying mystery. We're never given the full picture. That's another one. And the last one that I have to recommend to you that's a little bit like these other shows is Taboo. Taboo starred Tom Hardy. It's over. It was on FX. I'm not sure if it's coming back for season 2 or not. I would have to look that up. It's set in, I believe, the 19th century, in the 1800s. And no one's really sure who Tom Hardy is. the story begins in a very typical way. It seems like it's just a historical fiction series, and then you're pulled into a completely different world, and there's things going on that are you didn't expect to be going on, and neither did Tom Hardy's character. So Taboo is the final show that I would recommend. 7 TV shows to watch while you wait for American Gods. To recap, those are Legion, Twin Peaks, Westworld, Preacher, Mr. Robot, Counterpart, and Taboo. So if you're just joining us, thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Nancy Basile from MediaMedusa.com. This is the first time I've been live on Facebook, and I sincerely appreciate your presence here. It's great practice for me, and this will be up on YouTube later on my YouTube channel. If you go to MediaMedusa.com/YouTube, you will be taken to my YouTube channel where you can see the last video I did and any future videos that I'll be posting. And this will also be turned into a podcast. So if you go to MediaMedusa.com and click podcast in the menu, you will, in a few days, get to listen to this all over again, or anytime you want. If you'd like to watch any of these shows, you can binge watch them at Amazon. If you're not an Amazon Prime member, you can become one by going to MediaMedusa.com/Amazon Prime. I am an affiliate for Amazon, so if you buy anything through that link, I do make a small commission, but at no extra cost to you. You can also find a lot of these shows on Netflix and iTunes.